in Unicorns of Love's drafts overall, we've seen they aren't really up to date. They aren't really playing the meta champions. We haven't seen Rumble. We haven't seen Morgana. There has been no Lee Sin. And I think in this meta, that's just a bit unacceptable. It's going to be very hard for them going forward unless they can pull out some new creative strategies without those champions.
Yeah, definitely been a struggle, but there's always time to rally. And again, this is kind of a battle of, you know, the two teams vying for second in some ways. But if you can get a game against RNG and you get to play them 2 more times today, we will, of course, finish out this group today. Your chances suddenly change a lot if you're able to take down the Titan that has been Royal Never Give Up. So Tristana, Udyr, the first 2 bans on the UOL side, they will be on blue for this draft, and Varus and Senna on the RNG side.
Yeah, and I expect the next RNG ban to be Morgana. Going to be interesting to see what Unicorns of Love do decide to ban here, but I think a really interesting stat is that we've had 18 games at MSI so far. 11 of those games, the first pick has either been Udyr, Morgana, or Rumble. So definitely a very jungle-focused meta. A lot of the jungle champions right now just a bit outrageous. We're gonna see that Unicorns are once again gonna leave the Rumble open. They haven't played it, Pastry. Are they gonna pick it up this time? I don't know.
I mean, it's, if there's ever a time to pull it out right, after not showing that you've played it so far in the tournament, it will be something like this. But RNG say, we don't think you want to play it. They're going to ban Thresh and take down some of the options for Logic and Santos. So what is the first pick? As you said, it has been a jungler. And UOL, they kind of know what the pick should be. But whether they take the pick or not is up to them. Oh, that'd be fun.
That would definitely be interesting. I don't think it would be that strong right now. I do expect it to be the Rumble, but I like RNG's adaptation where, you know, they don't know if Unicorns can pull out that Rumble or not, so they decide not to ban the Morgana this time around. We haven't seen Wei play yet. He actually hasn't been playing it that much in solo queue, so I wonder if he will opt into that. But ooh, the Renekton, a champion that has been banned quite a bit. I love this for RNG just for the fact that, again, you have Cryan and Xiaohu. They can flex his champion around so easily.
Yeah, it's definitely a good call out there. RNG, a very versatile team, a lot of different ways they can kind of approach the game. I know kind of going up there and helping out Xiaohu is kind of more of what they've done in the... Yeah, it's definitely a good call out there. RNG, a very versatile team, a lot of different ways they can kind of approach the game. I know kind of going up there and helping out Xiaohu has kind of been more of what they've done in the LPL, but we've definitely seen Gala popping off on Kai'Sa, which he is going to get.
And typically, right, you'd see.
I feel like if there's ever an opportunity,
I think something like a Nautilus takeaway would be quite good because we've seen
RNG snap that one up nice and quick. That means Logic is over on Xayah for this game, and one more pick here.
We're going to go with another takeaway. This was Ming's most played champion in the spring split of LPL. So again, not wanting to give him that power and also wanting Santos to have a bit of engaged threat on his own.
All right, we kind of talked about it. We're maybe expecting jungle here, and it will indeed be Morgana. Could be Flex, but pretty unlikely given the meta we've seen so far here at MSI. So that will be Wei, I believe,
it's a bit of an interesting one. I think it's definitely Rumble favored. You have an easy time of shattering that black shield with your Electro Harpoon, and then you're just pretty much able to one-shot Morgana where she doesn't have the same threat on you because of your shield. Very curious to see that RNG are deciding to ban out mid laners. No Man's obviously the standout player on the side of Unicorns of Love, but I thought, hey, maybe try and get Boss off of some of those more uncomfortable skill matchups in top lane. You know, the Gnar's been left open. He has also played the Jace this tournament, but RNG just very conscious of what Unicorns of Love's strength is. And you know, it seems that we lost Pastry, so you guys get the solo lyric show. We're gonna see on the opposite side that, you know, Unicorns of Love know that Ming is the best player on RNG. We've seen this strategy done before where, hey, you just ban out a bunch of Ming's champions. They want to get him off of something comfortable, get him away from that engage role. And when we look at RNG's comp right now, it definitely needs engage in that support position. Having Renekton, sure, he can find some flanks. Maybe if you do have the flash available, you can just look for the flash stun onto the enemy carry, but nothing really versatile right now. They also have a very low range composition, so they're not going to have a good time into these fights against the Xayah and the Rumble. So I really like what Unicorns of Love have drafted in this first 3. I like their adaptations to this meta, and the fact that they're also conscious of, hey, we're going to take away some of these support champions is really good. Now my eyes are wondering where RNG will go. They are going to go to what's left open with that engaged support, picking up the Leona. Bot lane matchup's going to be a bit of a wash. We know Kai'Sa vs Xayah is an age-old matchup, and then 2 meatball supports. They're going to be hitting each other, sure. When Leona goes for the engage, Alistar can try to knock the Kai'Sa away and have a bit of a nice trade. And Pastry, welcome back. Oh, apparently Pastry's not welcome back. So we're going to keep going. Unicorns of Love right now hovering the victor, and I feel like Victor's a very weird pick to me right now in the meta. He's been picked up quite a bit. I think he is the safest blind pick mid laner, but he's been struggling quite a bit.
All right, well, I think I'm now back. Thank you, Lyric. If we're going to lose me, I guess Champ Select, not a bad place to do so, but as you mentioned, it is going to be Victor here for Nomanz, which is a champion that hasn't seemed quite as potent as it has been in previous patches. But last but not least, for Ananasik, the Pineapple himself will take Nocturne by the looks of things, which actually is going top lane because that's how it works now. Because Rumble is not a solo laner. Realign your expectations.
Which I think is good, right? We've seen some drafts so far when Rumble has been put into a solo lane when
it's possible.
Very clearly, I think he's just too strong in the jungle. S+. They're going to run the Nocturne into what we should expect to be the Renekton. The Sylas also going to come out. You would expect that to go up against the Victor. So very skirmishy draft on the side of RNG. I like that they did lock in that Leona in the earlier phase because you just have a very heavy dive composition, right? You have 4 champions who want to go in, excluding the Morgana. She will have time with the Predator as well to get in there with her ultimate, but RNG very clear identity to where I think Unicorns of Love's draft is a bit more dynamic. You always have a lot of scaling and late game team fighting, but also a lot of backline threat with that Paranoia and the Equalizer.
Yeah, I kind of like the middle ground, I guess, that you all have picked here. They're still giving Nomanz like more of his comfort, right? Scaling control mages, he's a super good carry player. They can play through him potentially if he gets farm or if he gets ahead early, but they are taking, more of what we've seen in the meta, right? Boss here on this Nocturne is something that can make things happen early mid-game. We have the Rumble finally that we've been asking you all to play in the jungle there for Ananasik, so it is always going to be an uphill battle up against a team like RNG, especially given the form they have shown in this group, but I do like what Unicorns of Love have brought to battle because everyone in this group knows that RNG is expected to win every single one of their games, and they are fighting to get that second spot out of this group. So, any games, like we said, that you take against RNG increase your chance of winning significantly as you're basically battling Pentanet for that exit out of this group. So, we'll see what happens. I think RNG have strung together a pretty strong comp on their side as well. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see the solo lane flex, even though I think they could have potentially moved them around if they wanted to, but I imagine they're pretty happy with the matchup they've gotten. And I think Sylas is the kind of champion that is just very, very good in this kind of meta.
The thing that's also interesting about the dynamic of these drafts is that typically Nocturne is really good at punishing immobile backline carries. But you look at RNG's draft, there really is none. Kai'Sa's going to jump in, Sylas wants to go in, Renekton wants to go in as well. So I feel like RNG are feeling in a really good position with this draft. And going back to your point about, if any of these teams can take a game off RNG, it will be massive for this group. It's very interesting that RNG hasn't limit tested more with their drafts, right? We've seen them first picking the Rumble. They're picking the Kai'Sa anytime they could. They're taking this very seriously and aiming for that undefeated scoreline in the first stage of MSI.
Yeah, they'll be super undefeated because, they get to play a couple extra games, which is, I guess, a bit of fun for them. But we'll see what happens here. RNG is certainly the favorites, as they should be, in most of the matchups they'll play throughout this tournament. But Ming is already in there, as Santos has met an untimely visit with Leona and Gala, as the Pulver is going to hit Ming, and I don't think anything funny is going to happen. Oh, that is a very nice counterpunch there for you. Well, Logic firing back with the feathers and sweeping it out. Make sure no vision was placed, which Ming has not done yet. Actually did place one, but I think his ward is gone. Thanks to you grouping up and pushing them out of their jungle.
I do like that RNG looked for a bit of this skirmish in level 1 because we know Alistar, not a champion, level 1 at all. You also look at the rest of RNG's composition. Morgana, very potent. You bring some damage. If he had to level 1 binding, if they could find a pick, it would be a bit rougher as clear, but the option's there. We know Crine can always start as E, so getting a bit of trade damage there. We do see that both junglers are going to go for solo starts, which, when it's Rumble Morgana, they both clear so fast as expected. And I'm interested to see what's going to go on in the bot side. Right now we're looking at the top lane matchup, but if you look at the minimap, Gala right now is waiting in that Shrine Brush trying to get a bit of information.
Yeah, Ming a little late as well, but coming back into lane now should be A-okay. And that ward was put down by Ming and was spotted, but unfortunately didn't have enough time on the sweeper to clear it out. Meanwhile, on the top side though, Xiaohui losing early on to the level 1. Nocturne, very potent here. You put down the Q, it does damage, it gives you more AD, gives you some speed, so very, very good in the early levels. As Crine already kind of playing the matchup as we've seen a lot in this kind of 1v1. Sylas just wants to get in Victor's face as often as he possibly can.
Yeah, and it's a very interesting matchup in my mind because, again, Victor's a very strong, isolated laner. You have a lot of base damage early on. Your Q level 1, I think, is one of the best abilities in the mid lane role with the base damage it gives, and then as well as the shield. Of course, he's going to get pushed, but I don't think Crine should have any problem in this mid lane matchup. The thing I'm most curious to see is how does RNG look to use their pressure that they want to get through soul lanes at some point? And like, where do they transition this around the map? Because Yo's bot lane is actually very safe, right? Xayah, Alistar, very hard lane to dive. Nocturne, a very squishy champion, though he's winning this 1v1.
Oh, boss, that could be 1v1, but in mid lane, stun there for Crying. As Nomads is going to get first blooded. Just straight up solos the guy as Crying's going to take it.
And this was our big question mark coming into MSI. Crying honestly was the weak link for RNG most of the split. Still a good mid laner, but I'd say around that 6th to 7th mark in the LPL. Coming out against Unicorns of Love, solo killing their best player is quite a statement from Crying.
All right, well, Xiaohu, on the other side of the coin, Boss has done a great job pushing him out of lane. TP's back in instantly as the wave is going to get shoved back in, and Ananasik is down here to the bottom side of the map, but he's on a ward right now as Gala and Ming are trying to push this lane in, so should be a-okay here. No real threat here for Leona and Kai'Sa, but at least, you know, they get the info and not going to play too disrespectfully here in the 2v2.
And an interesting thing to note is the fact that Wei will be able to get double Scuttle Crab. We're going to pause on that because we're going to go straight into this replay. Only a level 2 Sylas finds the E. No Man's not respecting, thinking, hey, Crying shouldn't be able to traverse that much distance. Does just find the kill. No Man's not even really able to react with his flash. But coming back on screen, right, we see that Wei was able to get the double Scuttle. He finished his clear a bit faster as well because we did see Ananasik hover towards that bottom lane. And I think RNG right now are feeling like they're in a pretty good position. Sure, Xiaohu faced some pressure early, did have to blow his flash, but I actually don't think this top lane matchup is going to make or break this game.
Yeah, I think unless there's some help, you know, some visitation perhaps from the junglers, top lane's probably just going to be some trading back and forth, and maybe Xiaohu falls a little bit behind, but should be a-okay, all things considered. It is a couple 100 gold up for RNG, so not too bad, but just for one kill, UOL we'll kind of take the misstep in stride and look to keep things going here. Bottom side is getting pushed in for UOL now, as Ming and Gala are going to have to contend with this creep wave. But Crying's going to be the big man on campus, because he's going to be level 6, definitely sooner than this Victor here, and he's got a bevy of good ults to steal, as Nomads is going to dodge the stun this time. Into the gravity field goes Crying. He's taken the 1v2, but now he realizes the Rumble is in the area, but Wei's roaming in as well. So he's going to have to flash there in mid lane, but here comes Wei lining up the binding, flash again, finds it there. That's going to be the all-in, and Crying's going to go for it. Wei actually will pick up the kill as Boss is going to TP in, but no ulti here for the Nocturne. Is going to be a kill, no, maybe not, as Ming does roam in, but Boss does finish off the kill. Now here comes Alistar, finds a two-man pole, but a great black shield from Wei, going to save his own life as Ming will flush the wall to safety, and a great little counterpunch there for UOL, but once again, it's just a trade as Wei, not done apparently, lines up the binding, finds it right between the ankles of the Alistar as the TP moves in now. Ming with the stun follow-up as Crying. He's the one TPing back in for a bit more. And Sanders, he's dead. Yeah, Ming's just going to take the kill. What a roam there from the RNG support.
Just nice reactions on both sides. From what we saw in the early mid lane matchup, it means Crying's going to have pressure and prio in this lane way before he should have been able to. Is able to play a bit disrespectfully, as we saw, because Wei is in the area. Ming also with the nice roam still was a bit behind the side of Unicorns of Love because Boss did make it down. Overall, favorable trade for the side of RNG. They have a winning mid lane matchup again earlier than they particularly should have, and they're going to be able to turn this into a dragon.
Yeah, really efficient stuff there for RNG. Take the fight in mid, collect the lion's share of the winnings as we watch this replay once again. I mean, Crying's just going off here, 1v2.
Yeah, he's doing really well. Even with the gravity field stun coming out, it didn't really mean anything. Wei does make his way into the fight. Left Predator on Morgana puts so much threat on the enemy. Sadly, Boss does TP in. Xiaohu doesn't have his teleport, so can't join this fight, so Crying is going to end up going down. But I love the confidence from RNG to know, hey, we can keep looking for this. They don't exactly have the damage to burst us out. You know, Nocturne and Victor are both not really bringing that early game burst potential to take down these carries, and to give Crying enough time to make his way back in the fight and to find another kill.
Yep, just TPs in after dying, gets the quick base back, I guess. Maybe it was part of the plan. And Crying definitely collecting some nice ones there. 1 kill, 1 death, and 1 assist. The perfect scoreline there for Crying to kick things off, as once again Rumble is here in his lane, but it's really just to protect this Victor, who needs to push things in and get it moving before Sylas gets out of lane, steals an ulti he shouldn't have, and then, I don't know, destroys his side lane. Crying definitely poised to take over this mid game alongside the rest of his squad.
And an interesting thing to note, Pastry, that we saw, you know, right after that fight was that Xiaohu made his way down and took the topside scuttle. So Ananasik still has not been able to pick up a Scuttle Crab in this game. We see Wei does have an XP and level advantage in the jungle, which will be quite massive. And now it's going to be about, hey, where does RNG turn to use this pressure? We know that Xiaohu's TP will be up first, so they'll potentially have TP plays available to them. But, you know, with Rift Herald up in about 30 seconds, I think we should keep our eyes on that top side of the map.
It did feel like it was only a moment ago. I said, you know what, RNG got first blood, up a couple hundred gold. Well, it's quite a bit different since I last said that. Not even 8 minutes in, I already have a dragon. That's pretty nice. We're up 2,000 gold. It's pretty good. And Gala's up 20 CS, and that's the biggest lead of the CS leads that RNG have, and they have a CS lead in every single lane. Even Ming is beating Santas by 2, if you're counting that as well. So seems to be going pretty well for the RNG early game.
And I think specifically hitting on the spot lane, this has obviously been the weak point for Unicorns of Love, bringing in Lodik. And, he wasn't originally their starter for most of the season. They did have Frappy, an AD carry from the French scene in. They wanted to bring in Lodik to have more stable comms so they can, speak in Russian. They've had a very clear playstyle of trying to play around their soul lanes and accepting, hey, bottom lane's going to be a bit of a survive side. They're just going to absorb pressure, and Unicorns of Love are going to try and step up in the team fights. But I think playing against RNG, that is a bit rough, because I would love to see a team play to punish RNG's bot lane, or even mid, even though in this meta I do feel like it is a bit harder, and not try to counterpunch RNG in that 3v3 top side, or 4v3 if we count that Ming is always there, because, again, that's where RNG is potentially one of the best teams in the world, if not the best.
Yeah, it does feel like attacking RNG's bottom lane is less about, potentially exploiting a weakness, even though Gala and Ming are decent. I don't think certainly among their peers in the LPL they're the absolute top, but Ming certainly is individually a very strong player, and Gala is growing as a star, which is really nice to see. But I think as long as you keep tabs of Ming, right, if you keep ganking bottom lane, chances are Ming's probably not there. If Ming has to stay there, right, which is kind of more the thing you're doing. It's less about can we kill them, it's more about we need to contain Ming, because every time he leaves the lane, somebody dies.
Exactly, and I feel like a lot of viewers are coming into this from seeing LPL playoffs saying, what are you talking about? Gala's insane. And Gala did have a great playoff, says I need to pause because Wei's going in.
Wei's in there, popping the ulti, pops the black shield, now going to get the harpoon in, but that doesn't even break that first one here. Wei feeling very powerful as Ming is going to roam in with the Zenith Blade, bounce back though as Ananasik as he's all stolen and killed by Cryan. It feels bad, man, but it's another kill for RNG.
And it just does so much more coming out from Cryan with the lead that he does have. RNG still knowing, hey, we're ahead, we're going to keep pushing this advantage forward. Ananasik trying to contest on that bot side. He finally wanted a Scuttle Crab, was still not able to get one. RNG now, again, just slowly building up that gold lead. Santas.
What a flash by Gala, my goodness. Gets out from the combo that was incoming out of the Hex Splash, and there's the ulti out. Now Santa's going in, gets knocked by the Zenith Blade. Ulti's about to wear off, and Gala is going to collect it, as he does indeed grab the gold. Lodik trying to fight back, does get Ming down low. Wei also running low on health, but no trade back there for UL. It's just another successful kill for RNG.
Oh, no.
Cryan going to be Ananasik, can't steal the ulti this time. Now they're going to battle, but Cryan a little bit more powerful. Nomad's going to be the difference maker here. Pops the Chaos Storm down to Cryan, who's running the wrong way, trying to get out of this one. So he's going to die to the Nocturne ulti. Back over the wall he goes. He gets the W heal, tries to find a trade, but it's Nomad's that collects some much needed gold.
I just love the way that Cryan's playing right now. Obviously a mistake. He went over aggressive. Good on Unicorns of Love for punishing that play. It's going to be nice to get a bit more gold back into their pockets, but again, we're just continuously seeing how far ahead Cryan is. Dragon is about to come up in 10 seconds. Cryan will be up at that time, and he does have teleport, so I don't think this should turn into any play that Unicorns of Love could make or exploit, because you even look across the board at their ultimates, and they're pretty much all down. They don't really have any way of contesting RNG with only the Equalizer.
Right, and I kind of go back to what you were saying before, although I'm very nervous with Ming on my screen. Something could happen at any moment. Also, Dragon up here for RNG. But as you were saying, Gala did have a great playoffs, but it wasn't necessarily true as we'll watch this play, which does, to be fair, make him look excellent.
Yeah, amazing flash. Again, completely counterplaying Santos. We see Wei was on this side of the map already. And unfortunately for Unicorns of Love, I think the biggest problem with this play was the fact that since Ananasik just died patiently.
Here we go again. Gala going to get pulverized there. Now everyone's TPing into the party. Gala going to get locked down. He's dead there as Lodik is able to claim the kill. And it's going to be a little too late perhaps on the TPs out of RNG as UL are just all in here. 5v3 in the bottom side. The Rumble ulti out. Wei running interference. Gets the Rumble and now they're going back in. Are you kidding me? Oh my goodness, Wei! Flash ulti's in with the black shield. Oh, pops a stopwatch and he's going to take down Ananasik. And now Bot's going to go back in as Lodik gets a two-man pulver there out of Alley. Does mean RNG are a little bit too eager to try and take this one, but Cryan's in the middle of the mess once again as he is going to get one kill, but he's surely dead. The Alley ulti's doing what it can, but now Ming in a 1v3 trying to get one more kill, and it won't happen. Is that an ace? It's almost an ace.
And this is exactly what we're talking about. It actually was an ace pastry time because Gala was the first one to go down. But if Unicorns of Love can be the team to take a game off RNG, that will be so massive for this group. Unicorns of Love were proactive. They were the first team to bring down 5 members. They punished RNG. They took Gala down right away. And then RNG kept thinking they could fight. You highlighted nice flash coming out from Waze. You know, we're going to get the full replay here. RNG are actually the ones being a bit aggressive. They're pushing. Of course, they want to get this tower play that makes sense. Santos finding the engage here. And again, keep your eyes on the members of Unicorns of Love because we see double TP coming out from their side. Gala instantly deleted. And this is where RNG feel like, hey, we can go for the counter engage. Really nice equalizer as well. It does get them to about 75% HP. And Wei just gonna massive confidence, flashes in with the shoal shackles, does also have the stopwatch, so they think it's okay. Cryin was close, but maybe had Cryin been able to be here, you know, a few seconds earlier, this could have been a different fight. But Logic and Nomans were completely untouched, putting out free DPS that whole time.
Yeah, definitely one worthy of the new Axe Factory play tag, though, because my goodness, UOL finally punching back there. You said they should go bottom lane. I didn't think that was the way they were going to go bottom lane, as it seems like the UOL camp is totally happy. Oh, that's wonderful. That's the team synergy you're looking for, both on the Rift and off the Rift. All 10 are ready to go, as Xiaohu is, wondering, how did that happen?
Yeah, and it's, you know...
Was I there? Did I do something?
For Xiaohu, it must be really weird, right? Because he's been pretty disconnected from the rest of the team this game. But hey, he's not going to be any more with Cryin making his way up.
All right, Cryin, finally, someone's coming to top lane. I was like, what's taking so long? 14 minutes in now, the gank is going to happen, and Boss is dead. Cryin going to take him out.
I love that RNG went for this. We were hitting on earlier, hey, with RNG, where do you look to use that pressure you're going to have in mid lane once Sylas is able to start roaming around the map? We highlighted, hey, the bot lane is a bit more difficult to dive when you do have a Xayah and Alistar on that side. Nocturne, very squishy champion. You have a lot of tools to kill that top lane. And RNG are going to be the first team to break down a turret, and this will at least give them a lane to get pressure from and try to pull members of Unicorns of Love around the map, and maybe even start shadowing mid, giving Cryin more pressure to take down more structures.
Yeah, after the replay we saw, which was a wonderful one to watch, RNG are still up 4,000 gold. Going to be a bit less as they get this tower, though, but Ming's already initiating on there. Is Cryin yeeting with a Nocturne ulti, and Gala's going to take down Ananasik. And unfortunately for you, well, the worst news is that they don't even get the tower they were trying to see.
Nope. It is pretty close, so anytime they want to hover multiple members down towards that bot side, they should be able to take that one. But Nomans is caught out as well, Pastry.
I mean, Cryan's just on a rampage here. Waves popping the ulti, the root does land in from the Morgana, and Cryan's going to finish it off. Nomans does well to get the trade back, but Cryan's now level 11, 5-3-2 with 150 bonus gold if you can catch him. And let me tell you, he's going to let you catch him because he is just running headfirst into every fight on his screen.
You know, one thing I love is that I was telling you earlier, Pastry, I'm kind of sad we didn't get a crazier, more rambunctious team at MSI, so you wouldn't get... Oh my god, I don't even get time.
It's like, you know what, well, back home in the LPL already for you, Lyric. As Boss and Cryin are doing battle, I wouldn't battle you. Oh, battle Sylas if I was Nocturne, and Boss, I think, realizes the same thing. Cryan's just a little bit too powerful right now. So everything's going to relax for just a moment, but here comes Santos just to cover mid lane because you don't know where Ming is, and Ming's probably coming mid lane soon, as we can see careening down right now.
You know, it feels like while we have some time, this might be a nice time to do a checkup on the items. We have Mythics coming out on both sides. RNG having more because, you know, they are ahead in the top side matchup. They pretty much were ahead in every lane. And of course, Logic is going to go for that Essence Reaver first to have that Spellblade passive to give him a bit more of a fighting chance in the laning phase. I think really interesting that Wei did go for that Zhonya's first, showing he wants to play more of that initiation role, which we've been seeing him do all game.
All right. Ming and Cryin are on screen. I assumed something was happening, but not yet. For the first time, I think, in a long while, Cryin is not initiating instantly onto the first enemy he can see, even though his support is behind him. Xiaohu, though, decided that, you know, mid lane, top lane wasn't enough in his career. He's going to moonlight as a jungler now here and take down the Rift Herald. And Wei's, like, not even interested. He's going to join, maybe. You know, doesn't need to. Takes the Raptors as Xiaohu does his work for him. Feels pretty good, man.
Yeah, it's weird to, you know, use the term self-sufficient and Xiaohu in the same, like, sentence as a top laner, but we've seen all game, right? Going into the enemy jungle, getting vision, taking Scuttle Crabs, now taking Rift Heralds as well. We've highlighted how they have that longer lane to play through in the side lane. RNG doing a nice job of already setting up vision on that side of the map. They can look to just continuously dive boss if they want, but I think preferably you'd want to start transferring that pressure more around the map. Unicorns of Love on the other side, though, finally able to break down that bottom turret.
Yeah, do get it, which is good for them. Bit of extra gold, bit of more room to play on the Dragon side of the map, which is something they could consider here as they did get the second Drake of this game. Also of note is Ocean Solemn, and therefore Ocean Rift this game. So a pretty valuable Dragon Soul to fight for once we do get there, but given the pace of RNG games so far this tournament, doesn't feel like we're going to get there, especially if Crying has anything to say about it with how quickly he has been starting things off. But there is a little bit of time here for you to maneuver and set things up around the next objective, although Wei is going to cut that dream short with that second Rift Trail. We did see the first one get dropped bot, which I don't think did too much, but was likely timing out. But this one mid is going to be excellent, 30 seconds before that dragon spawning.
And I want to see RNG start transitioning into getting some bot side vision with this. They do stay around to break down this turret, but this is a good time. Again, Dragon's coming up in 20 seconds. It's one Drake to one Drake right now. We do have ultimates up on both sides, so this could potentially be a window where Unicorns of Love feel confident to look for the fight. But again, when it comes to the play pattern of the fight, I'm wondering, what target do you go on? You want to drop Equalizer on the back line, but everyone on RNG is diving in. Same with Boss going in. Sure, you're going to want to target Gala, but Gala's probably going to be right next to, you know, Renekton, Leona, and Sylas right into the thick of things.
Yeah, I think my favorite thing about this game is that RNG also have the same game plan of dropping the Equalizer on the enemy backline. One of the nice benefits of picking Sylas is this Dragon's just dead here, but the fight maybe is going to happen after Crying already in there, gets the Alistar ultimate instead, and just initiates for the side as Gala gets in and gets out, flashing out after Killer Instinct, but Logic is trying to kill the Sylas, but he's just so tanky, man. Alistar is going to fall as the stolen ulti keeps Crying alive, and RNG, they're going to take one, and Crying, of course, he's in there. Double kill out of Gala as Crying just... There's no fight he's afraid of this game. He loves them all.
And what do you even do at this point, Pastry? It's not 20 minutes that you can't transition this into a Baron. You just took Dragon. You've already taken the camps in the enemy jungle. You're going to push in mid-wave. Maybe you could potentially look to put some threat onto Logic, but with how low death timers are, I don't think that's realistic either. And honestly, that fight was a bit all over the place. I didn't even see how No Man's went down because they were so focused on killing the Alistar. I want to keep our attention, though, on Gala to start this one off because Crying goes in, everyone jumps right onto the back line. Gala instantly has to flash out. I thought this is where it was going to go bad for the side of RNG, but look at the mid lane. No Man's actually went down in that initial engage when they were jumping on both Santos and No Man's. And then RNG having a nice angle, Wei cutting off from the Raptor brush. Crying keeps going forward. That's just another member of Unicorns of Love down.
Yeah, who else but Ming, of course, to find the Zenith Plate angle there with the flank onto No Man's and start that fight off. With an even bigger advantage than RNG already have in this game, and now they're up 8,000 gold. Crying doing the lion's share of the damage in that last team fight. 6-3 and 4. Zhonya's completed. 9 stacks on the Dark Seal. Feeling like a book game here for Crying, as he is going to go top lane and take a little bit of farm. This is one of the rare instances of him being a bit more peaceful as a player this game. You know, playing a little bit of PvE for now. I think maybe he was hoping to visit Xiaohu. It's felt fairly lonely this game. I know Xiaohu is very much a team player. You know, kind of has the spirit of the team. In a lot of ways, he's been with RNG for so long, and you know he's been isolated this game. Usually his jungler's there, usually Ming's there, but he's just chilling out with a 60 CS.
I mean, Pastry, anyone who saw the first FPX RNG series knows Xiaohu's a team player when he's R5 picking Ornn for his team. Didn't work out, obviously, as RNG got 3-0'd in that set, but always shown he's a man of the team. And what's going to be nice going forward in this game is that RNG are going to have pressure in sides. It is going to be a bit difficult to navigate because you don't want to give a window for Anonystic and Boss to, you know, Paranoia and Equalizer combo and find a pick and potentially give them a window back onto the map. But still, Xiaohu very safe, has his flash up. Didn't actually go for the Stride Breaker this game, went for the Gore Drinker, which I think is a bit interesting. Stride Breaker a lot more about diving in on enemy backline. Gore Drinker trying to survive those very brawly, close-knit fights. And on the opposite side, we know Crying just straight up chilling all game.
Yeah, I think, you know, they've kind of swapped roles in some ways. Crying's the diver this time around, and Xiaohu's maybe the one that follows up in and needs to live a little bit longer in the fights. However it works, RNG's certainly been finding plenty of avenues to victory in their team fights, and they're going to start Baron in the dark at 21 minutes. And well, they probably have an inkling, but I don't know if it's safe to check even if they did know.
Yeah, and I'm just happy RNG are doing it so fast because if Unicorns of Love did know about this, right, you have the Chaos Storm, you have the Equalizer, there's a lot of AoE damage. Crying.
Oh, Crying's in there again. He's just found his favorite ultis. He takes Alistar's ulti once again. Ooh, good soul there from Ming, and now the flank is coming in for Xiaohu. Round the back he goes. There's Boss TPing in. The lights are out, but I think Xiaohu is still just in there, going to be popping that Gold Drinker, but now he's going to get burnt to a crisp as Logic takes the last hit, and Crying is awfully low, but he's not out just yet as Wei is going to take the counter kill, now face tanking the rest of the enemy team as that gravity field zones off Ming. Now Santa's great re-engage over the top there with the Pulverize, and that's going to be a shutdown in for Logic. Ming is now going to have to turn tail and run as the TPs are coming back doing Ming
What?
trying to live, but now a 1v4 for Cryan, who's going to back out of this fight for once, especially given that he just bought him a Jayz.
Earlier we said, hey, RNG been playing, very seriously, very well. They've been drafting, according to the meta. Everything's been pretty precise and clean cut. You can see a bit of looseness in RNG's gameplay right now. Cryan is sticking around. I think this is because Xiaohu's about to be up, and Xiaohu does have TP. I think with how far ahead Cryan is, they could feel confident if they were able to take that numbers disadvantage fight, but Unicorns of Love not going to make the RNG play, going to take the turret and safely back off.
Yep, again, just kind of padding their lead here and making the Red Bull Baron power play not look all that hot for RNG. And I mean, at the end of this play, Santa's really coming up clutch, but we'll watch the start of it here as RNG, again, just going in every time they can.
And just look at that equalizer, right? This was RNG deciding to fight into a choke. Cryan got chunked out very early on despite having the Alistar ultimate, and you're just taking so much AoE damage, right? The Chaos Storm, we already hit on the equalizers there. The Flame Spitter just in everyone's face, and RNG still think they can do it, but Santos with an amazing headbutt pulverize combo over the wall to shut down the members of RNG, and then Ming just kind of stuck in a very precarious position. It looked like Cryan thought he can get back in time where more members would be alive so he can keep the skirmish going, but sadly he's not able to, and actually, he didn't even use the Alistar ultimate in that skirmish.
All right, just saving it for the next team fight, perhaps. There is Xiao, who has found boss. Cryan, though, has found, once again, an enemy to attack, but the Dragon is also up, so perhaps RNG will fall back to that instead. They are up 2-1 in Drakes. And look to take the third here pretty swiftly, although UOL, again, pushing mid, trying to get a little bit of space for themselves here. Featherstorm burnt early, though, for Logic. And Ming didn't even pop the Soul Flare, so Santa's going in. He's going to get locked up and have to ulti out there, but Cryan going to re-initiate through the damage reduction. Cryan's on a rampage as RNG are going to get yet another kill.
And you understand what UOL are trying to do, right? Drake's up. It's going to be RNG's third Drake, going to put them on Soul Point. Unicorns of Love think, hey, we aren't able to give this one up. But RNG prepping it very well. They do have vision in UOL's bottom side jungle. They find the initiation, they find the pick, and they're just going to be able to transition this back into map pressure against Unicorns of Love. Boss!
How much time has Cryan spent on the enemy side of the map this game? I feel like even in the laning phase, he was just constantly forward. Pops an Octonauts he'd stolen earlier. Logic, remember, doesn't have Featherstorm, but he does have Cleanse and Flash. He's going to be AOK as he Gale Forces out, but RNG do take down the tower in mid as a result. Great equalizer there out of Ananasik, and now the counter Nocturne ulti on the mid lane, going to try and take out Cryan. But Gala going to get the kill on the bosses. Gala's going to be A-OK, and now Cryan Unstoppable is going to take out the Xayah. Xiaohu on the other side is going to look to lock up point. It is a flash away from the Rumble, but unfortunately he's going to leave his teammates high and dry in mid lane as RNG are going to take 3, and the Chaos Storm from No Man's will at least take Ming.
And I don't think death timers are long enough. Actually, they might be for RNG to end it. Way going to back off though, but we got caught up in the hype of the moment. That equalizer looks sick from Ananasik, but sadly, Santos wasn't there, so they really didn't have any way in engaging to that strong side of the fight where I think they could have heavily won out had he been there. They try to all in onto the sole member of RNG, and then it looks like they got a bit desperate, right? A bit of headless chickens just kind of running in, RNG able to equalize and take that fight pretty decisively.
All right, well, RNG are up 10,000 gold. They're on Soul Point. We're going to watch this replay again, because like you said, oh, actually, this is off the equalizer. This is Cryan just getting in there.
Yeah, this was, I think, a really good play, right? Even if they don't find the kill, they're chunking him out. They're getting him off turret. This is where Ananasik comes up. Again, he has the heat over 50%, so getting a lot of the bonuses if they are able to find fight. But look at the minimap. The Alistar isn't here, so they try to all in on the AD carry. Sadly, they aren't really able to follow up. They don't have any true engage with them without that Alistar, so they're just able to pick off UOL one by one as they try to run in and find that pick.
Yeah, tough there. I mean, boss obviously can initiate from very far away, but tough for the AD to follow up. Equalizer already been committed, and everyone's just escaping there happily.
Yeah, and I
Ming cracks a smile.
love to see the smile on Ming's face. Again, I think a lot of people have been like, hey, when it comes to RNG, people talk a lot about Gala because of his playoffs performance. People talk about Xiaohu because the story is just so cool of him transitioning towards the top side. But Ming is definitely the key player and the best player of this team. Clement put it out the other day, but Xiaohu actually said in an interview, the duo lane is wherever Ming is. So Ming, pretty much taking over this whole map, just been such a dominant player for RNG. And, potentially, most likely the best support in this tournament, though. I feel like we got to wait for results later on to truly find that out.
Definitely, I think, can play for it as the tournament drags on. But Ming, I feel like for a team as versatile as RNG, with how many different styles they've shown, even though they certainly have preferences and styles like any team does, they've shown a lot in this tournament of the different kind of flavors of play they have. And to me, a lot of that is just Ming tying the room together, right? Every time something sweet is happening, including Gala's wonderful pen skill from LPL playoffs, Ming is always there making sure that, plays are going exactly as needed.
And I love that we're talking about this right now because, again, we tried to hit on this earlier before the action broke out, but I feel like a lot of people who saw RNG only in playoffs or finals might have a very different perception of RNG from the whole split, where they were playing a lot around bot lane and Gala was popping off, but I really had no questions around RNG's top jungle and support performing well. We know Xiaohu, Wei, and Ming are their core. The question marks for me coming into MSI is, one, will Gala play the same as in playoffs, still have those pop-up performances? And two was, will Cryan step up? Me and you were having this conversation earlier in the day that in this stage of the tournament is where Cryan should be able to step up and show he can be a primary carry for RNG.
And I think both Cryan and Gala are having excellent tournaments for themselves, right? Younger players, more rising stars from a region full of so much talent. And I feel like, especially in this group, they've been flexing those muscles for 4 days now, actually. I guess 3 and now this one that they're
playing. Ming!
Cryan once again is back in there, but he misses it. Also looking for the 25 Magi's by the wave. Or to re-engage out of the ulti from Manana Seekers. Gala does take out Nomanz, but it is going to be some trades back and forth. But 3 kills already for RNG to slapping them with the wallet. And they're just too far ahead. Lyric, it's trying to make it happen in the end of it all, but that's going to be an ace for RNG.
Exactly. Now death timers are so long, it doesn't matter that multiple members of RNG are down. They should be able to look for this. Again, a bit of an expected win, but Unicorns of Love putting up a great fight this time around.
Yeah, I mean, picking their own ball, kind of trying to adapt in it where they really don't have all that much time. You have to play games almost every day. But RNG continuing their undefeated run. They will take down the enemy Nexus and claim victory number 5. Just looking so good here at MSI 2021.
And RNG definitely playing a bit more loose in this game. Again, Cryan especially, you highlighted it many times, Pastry. He was pretty much in UOL's jungle the whole time. Talking about UOL, I do want to give a special shout out to Nomanz because it does feel like he had a really good game. Again, picking up numerous kills, a lot of really great Chaos Storms. And again, when you're facing a mammoth like RNG, this is going to happen. I think the big thing going forward is not to let this get you too tilted, because we got to remember, they have a very close matchup against PGG later.
Yep, certainly do. And again, for UOL, it has probably been more sights set on Pantanet and making sure they can make it out the other team in this group, because RNG, of course, as expected, it has continued to run over teams here in